Hey, I'm Sarah, and this is the Goddess in Training podcast. This isn't about being perfect or polished or having it all figured out. This is about what happens when you actually start listening to your body, your intuition, your patterns, your truth. I'm asking big questions and having real conversations, sometimes messy and sometimes magical, with people who've lived through it, grown through it, and still don't have all the answers. If you've ever doubted yourself, betrayed your gut, or wondered if you're the only one, you're not. Let's talk about it. I didn't just wake up one day and decide to make a podcast. Wait, I actually did wake up one day and literally decide to make a podcast. It came to me in a dream, but I had no idea how it would happen. I had no year, no plan, no direction. What I did have was a feeling. It was a pull, a persistent inner voice that was telling me it was time to share out loud, to let my voice and the stories that have shaped me, to let them be heard. As I get ready to launch Goddess in Training, I've been reflecting on all of the breadcrumbs that have led me here. I remember when I was 7, I loved the movie Baby Boom, and I wanted to be Diane Keaton. She ditched her perfect career and listened to her instincts and had wonderful results and became a multimillionaire with her applesauce business and her adorable little baby. But she built something of her own, and that stuck with me. I also remember being obsessed with Murphy Brown. She was sharp, unapologetic, and so smart. She had total bad bitch energy. When I was 13, I remember reading lines for a play in my grandmother's kitchen. She had been an actress, and she believed in my voice long before I did. Then there were other quieter moments, the ones that no one sees, but they shape everything. The truth is, this podcast didn't just come from intuitive nudges that now make sense. It came from a kind of spiritual labor, I would say. It came from the medicine. Earlier this year, I sat with ayahuasca for the first time. I had worked with mushrooms for healing many times before, but something about this ceremony called to me. It was a last minute thing, a Facebook ad of all things, and I felt it in my gut. I had to go. I asked my best friend to go with me, and he did. I remember the room was warm with candlelight. The music was sacred. I drank, I wept, I purged, and then I arrived. I arrived at this place where I could see myself clearly. I could see my higher self. It was a space of truth. That night I remembered something important. We are never alone. The people we need are teachers, collaborators, midwives of vision. They exist both in this world and in what I can only call the realm of knowing. That's where this podcast was born. Even the tech piece, which felt so daunting to me, it came together through divine timing. I met someone in a mediumship class who just happened to be a really successful podcaster. And she and her sound engineering husband, they have helped me get everything off the ground. And so here we are. I really believe in the power of stories, how they hold medicine, how they transmit truth, and how they remind us we're not alone. For generations, stories were how wisdom was passed, not through data, but through myth, metaphor, and memory. And somewhere along the way, many of the stories that honored women's knowing, our intuition, our cycles, our sacred rage and tenderness, they were buried or erased. This podcast is my small offering toward remembering. Not just remembering my own voice, but the voices of goddesses and guides who have been silenced, but never stopped whispering. The ones who remind us what it means to return to ourselves. This podcast isn't about being perfect or polished. Anyone who knows me knows I am neither of those things. It's about showing up. It's about listening inward, even when the message is unclear or inconvenient. It's about learning to trust the quiet voice that doesn't always speak in full sentences. The name Goddess in Training arrived softly, like a memory I didn't know I had. At first, I questioned if I was even worthy of it, but over time, I understood. This path isn't about claiming a title. It's about returning to a truth that lives deep in the bones. It's about devotion, not destination. About the sacred, imperfect art of becoming. To be a goddess in training is someone who is willing to remember what it means to be deeply connected to yourself, to the earth, to the quiet wisdom that doesn't need to shout to be true. We don't arrive fully formed, we become. And that becoming is messy and mystical and wildly beautiful. That's what I hope this space offers, a reflection of that becoming, a space where your voice matters, your intuition is honored, and your story is sacred. Each week, I'll bring you real stories, intuitive tools, and conversations with people who are navigating their lives with clarity, with courage, and with a little cosmic humor. So, if you've ever felt a whisper in your chest, a nudge you couldn't explain, or a longing to trust yourself more deeply, Goddess in Training was made for you. The first 3 episodes drop on June 11th, and I hope you'll join me. You can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and follow the journey on goddessintraining.online. And if this spoke to you, I'd love it if you share it with someone who's learning to trust their own knowing too. Before we officially begin, I'd love to invite you to pause and ask yourself, when was the last time you trusted your intuition? Really, really trusted it? What story in your life has been waiting to be told? If something rises for you, hold it gently. You're not alone in the remembering. Thank you for tuning in to Goddess in Training. I hope something in this episode stirred your knowing or softened your heart. If it spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it, or leave a review or comment to help others find us. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear more conversations like this, please consider supporting Goddess in Training on Patreon. For more tools and offerings to deepen your intuition practice, visit goddessintraining.online. You can also join the Scroll of Seshat on Substack for twice-weekly stories of how I followed my intuition. The music for Goddess in Training is Madre Ayahuasca by Arkawa, and you can find more of his music in the link to his website in the show notes. Remember, your intuition is not a mystery, it's a memory. Keep listening.
Madre Ayahuasca, resplandor de fuego, estrellita, tabaco santo, fuerza de rapé, soplo de luz, soplo encantado, viajecito, bendición del cielo, fortaleza, tigrecito de la selva.